But you have to give a president immunity. Otherwise, take a look at Harry Truman. He wouldn't have done, if you think Hiroshima, not exactly a nice act, but it did end the Second World War probably, right? Nagasaki, he wouldn't be doing that. He said, I don't want to do that because my opponents will indict me. You have to give a president full and total immunity.
So as you just saw, Trump justified the nuking of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, saying that it ended the World War II early. But as a Japanese citizen that has been to Hiroshima and Nagasaki and has been involved in peace movements, this is completely unacceptable and very insulting towards the people that were murdered by this horrible war crime, and many people that have survived but are suffering physically and mentally because of the nuclear bombs dropped in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And this should be like obvious to everyone, regardless of their political stances. But sadly, I have to say this, but any and all of the attacks on innocent civilians by the military, like that is 0% justified, and that is 100% wrong, regardless of the situation. But you know, the United States, if you look at what they're doing in Gaza, like it's clear that they don't really care about saving human rights or protecting the dignity of everyone. So like I feel like Trump's remarks that you just saw is like another indication of that. Like, in addition to that, it is not true that like nuclear bombs dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki they led to like this early surrender of Japan or something. Like no, that's not true. If you look at the historical like resources, and it's clear that Japan was going to surrender anyways, even if the nuclear bomb was not dropped. So like this notion that this nuclear bomb led to the Japan surrender, that is just factually incorrect. So like Trump's remarks, like as I said, even if that were the case, this dropping of horrible nuclear weapons that led to many casualties and suffering of many innocent civilians, this is completely unjustifiable. But in addition to that, like this is like factually incorrect that this led to the early surrender of Japan. So Trump's remarks like completely bullshit. But the reason he brought this up is like, as you just saw, he said that so Truman, he wouldn't have dropped the nuclear weapons if it were the case that the total immunity weren't applied to the president. By saying that, he's trying to make this case that immunity is necessary for all presidents, because you know Trump is being indicted for insurrection for the January 6th storm of the Capitol, and he's trying to like say that he shouldn't bear responsibility for it because he was the president at the time and he should have the complete immunity. But as someone that is like opposed to like any use of nuclear weapons or like any weapons in general against the innocent civilians, if it were the case that Truman wouldn't have dropped the nuclear weapons if immunity was not like applied to all presidents, then like that to me is like an argument against giving full immunity to like any presidents, right? Unfortunately, there are many Americans that still believe that the drop of nuclear weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki are justified because it led to the early surrender of Japan. There are like more people believing in that notion in the GOP support base than like Democrats or independents or other political parties, because you know they're just right wingers that think that it's okay to hurt innocent civilians as long as they go along with these like America's interests. So, and that's the sad reality in America, and you know Trump's probably appealing to that. But in Japan, like Trump is very popular with the like Japanese alt-right, but obviously like most of like overwhelming majority of the Japanese people, we believe that this dropping of nuclear weapons is not justified. From the far right to the far left, there's like no political stances that supports these things, obviously. So I was a little curious on what the people in the alt-right, far-right spheres on this Trump's remarks were, because if they had like core principle that this dropping of the nuclear weapons is not justified, they would be calling Trump out on it. But unfortunately, and not that unexpectedly, because they give Trump a pass on every single thing that he does, so it's not like a surprise to me. But they like played soft on Trump on this issue as well. This is a politician that belongs to the Japanese Conservative Party. It was just founded last year. But this is like a very popular political party within the Japanese internet far right people, and he tweeted this in response to his remarks made by Trump. And he said that this expression made by Trump is not as bad as Biden or Obama, and he just didn't call out Trump on this horrible remarks that are very insulting to the Japanese people and everyone that's suffered from these nuclear weapons. First of all, it's not true that Obama and Biden are worse than Trump on this issue of nuclear weapons, because they both visited Hiroshima, especially Biden. He visited Hiroshima last year, and he went to these museums that showed how the people in Hiroshima have suffered from the nuclear weapons. And he said that he learned that these droppings of nuclear weapons, and this has led to a lot of harm, and it's just terrible to see these things. He said something along those lines. So this is much better than someone like Trump, who's justifying the droppings of the nuclear weapons to just for his selfish, very bogus arguments. That's clear, but these conservatives in Japan are not calling out Trump on this, or not conservatives, because there are moderate conservatives that don't support Trump, but these far right individuals like this one. But so this notion that Biden and Obama are worse than Trump on this, that's just not true. And even if that were the case, I'm not a big fan of Biden and Obama either. They're just a neoliberal warmongers that don't care about human rights. So I have no, I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to whitewash what Biden is doing in places like Israel. They're horrible. They're horrible people that don't care about human rights too. So even if were the case that Biden and Obama were worse than Trump, this wouldn't be the first thing you say to this news, right? This is very bad and insulting. So just call out this bullshit. Even if that's Trump that's saying it, if you believe in principles, right? If you are a conservative that wants to protect the dignity of all Japanese people, then you wouldn't be playing soft on this, or soft on Trump like this. This just proves that people in the far right, like this one, they are this cultish Trump worshipping empty people that don't care about the dignity of the people in their own country. So they shouldn't call themselves Japanese conservative party. What a joke! Don't call yourself that. That's all for now. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.